Welcome to County Connection. Today we have Jamie this morning from the CAM-PLEX, and we're going to start out talking about the AVA the AVA auction items that are happening at the CAM-PLEX.
Yeah, so AVA does their big annual fundraiser in January each year, and prior to that, they display their live auction items in our gallery. So those will be up from January 9th to the 26th. It's a good opportunity to come and check out a beautiful display of works. So those are usually a juried piece. Wow, how do I say that? A juried group of pieces, so that means that people have submitted their work and the best have been chosen. So they're always a really good showing of a variety of artists from the region and lots of different mediums. And so it's kind of a cool show to come and check out. And they'll have tickets, I'm sure, for their fundraiser, which I believe is usually the 27th. I think it's going to be the 27th of January, but please confirm that with AVA. They have a great event, and it's a really big part of their funding for the year, which is a great thing to support in the arts here locally.
Definitely.
Excuse me. This is going to be just full of gaffes today, I have
It's
a feeling.
All good.
So that's what's happening in the gallery. And then the beginning of January 10th through the 14th, we have Missoula Children's Theater's annual visit. For those of you who aren't familiar with Missoula, they send out teams of 2 actors out around the country to work with students, do auditions and rehearsals throughout a week, and then perform a musical at the end of the week. So they'll be doing auditions on January 10th at 4:15 sharp. If you're late, you're not going to be allowed to audition because they just have a certain amount of time allotted for that.
Yeah.
And it's open for kids K through 12. Some of the older kids too can have the option to sign on as assistant directors, which is kind of a great opportunity for them to work with the actors in directing the show. There are always more kids that audition than can be cast, unfortunately. So that is just something I like to let parents know so they can have that conversation with their kids in advance and talk about the possibility of disappointment, because that can be a really big deal, especially for younger kids. But that's a good learning opportunity as well.
It's real life.
Sometimes
You're
you
not
don't
always
get
going to get that job.
Exactly. So if the kids do audition, they need to be available for rehearsals that whole week in the after school and evening time. And then the performance will be on Saturday at 2 p.m. So this year they're doing the show Peter and Wendy. They always do things that are based on fairy tales, but people often think it's going to be just like the Disney version of that, which is not. I mean, most of those Disney shows are based on traditional fairy tales, and these are as well. So they have their own take, different kinds of music and things. But it's a really fun experience, especially if kids are new to performing and they're just trying to see if it's something that they want to do. Being that it's only a week, it's a good short commitment to see if they are interested in it enough to maybe do something like the Performing Arts Workshop or something else that's a little bit more long-term.
Which is actually kind of why I think it's great that, like we said, for those that maybe just want to kind of see it, they don't have to be in it. They can kind of be like what you're talking about, helping them out on the side. Like that would be a great, I guess, inside look at it and be like, oh, okay, this is something I want to do, or no, this isn't really something I want to do. And that way they're not stuck, in a role that they have to keep going through if they don't feel it.
Sure. So lots of great opportunities for the kids with that. So if you have more questions, of course, you can always give us a call. And so that's what's happening at the beginning of the month. And then we have a great show on January 20th. I'm really excited about this one. This is kind of a little bit different, bears a little bit of explanation. So the show is called The Hillbenders, Tommy, a bluegrass or rock opry. Actually, yes, Tommy, a rock opry. So the whole thing is The Who's album, Tommy, which a lot of people are familiar with, is super popular. I mean, one of the best albums of all time, if you ask me. It was recorded back in the 70s, and it's a classic rock album. And this is a modern-day bluegrass group that decided to do a bluegrass treatment of that album and play it in its entirety. So the concert is the whole Tommy album played by bluegrass artists. And I will say that when I first saw the kind of advertisement of some of this, I didn't like the idea. I love Tommy, and I thought, bluegrass Tommy, I don't know about that. That sounds kind of hokey, but I had a colleague go and see the show, and she's like, Jamie, it's incredible. You will love it. Go see it. And so I followed her advice, and I went and saw the whole show last year at one of my conferences, and it is incredible. The musicians are so fantastic, and somehow that bluegrass treatment of that work is it's really spot on.
Well done.
Really well done, and it's just a lot of fun. So I would just say, if you like music, you'll like this show. If you like classic rock, if you like bluegrass particularly, you'll like the show. But it's really going to be a fun time. And it's a Friday night, January 20th, so it'll be a great date night. I would say with the content of the Tommy album, I wouldn't necessarily take younger kids to the show because there's some things that some themes that are a little bit more mature in that album. But older kids certainly would enjoy it, and definitely adults. So
Yeah, the
check it
young
out.
ones don't understand it anyway.
Well, that's true. And they have a cool website too called whograss.com. If you want to check it out, they have some of the music up from the show on there if you want to kind of preview it and see if it's for you. But I tell you, these guys are so energetic and so much fun to watch on stage too. So check that out. Tommy, the Hillbenders Tommy, a Rock Opry on January 20th at 7 p.m. And then at the end of the month, it is a busy month. At the end of the month, we have our national Broadway touring company for the show for this year. Geez, I'm really having a hard time talking. It must be Christmas break almost,
She's
right?
gung-ho ready to go, though.
Because, we're filming this back in time, right? So anyway, on January 26th, we have the national touring company performing Annie. So this is actually even bigger than Mamma Mia was last year in terms of production.
That was a big one.
Then that was a big one. Yeah, that's saying something. So this is the biggest show to date that we've ever put into the theater in terms of the amount of sets and costumes and personnel required to put this together. So it really is a big and beautiful Broadway show. So, and Annie is great material. It's a lot of fun no matter who you are. It's great for families, but it's also great for adults as well. So just would encourage you to check that out. It is the big show of the season. So that's on January 26th at 7. And then I did want to briefly mention something that starts at the very beginning of February as well. February 1st, in fact, we have one of our arts and education shows, The Odd Squad Live, which is based on a very popular PBS series. If you haven't watched it, it's a lot of fun. It's a kids detective agency that solve mysteries around their town, basically using math concepts. So it is educational, but it's also a lot of fun, and kids, preschool aged and early elementary school age kids just love it, and it's a lot of fun. And so that they'll be performing on our stage February 1st at 6:30 p.m. That is part of that arts education programming, so the ticket prices are very inexpensive, and if you still have a punch card from the school district out there, you could get a free ticket for your student for that as well. Yeah, so lots going on. Check out our website, go on Facebook, we're also on Instagram and Twitter, and just see what we're up to.
All right.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Thank you.
Welcome to County Connection. Today with me I have Elizabeth from the Campbell County Library, and today we're going to be talking about the event happening right away at the library, which is the CCPLS Tech Workshop. So Elizabeth, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. The Tech Workshop is kind of what we're going to start out. We have technology classes every Tuesday night. We started that last spring to try to meet a need of people just figuring out how to work some different and modern technology. And so we do that every Tuesday night. And we wanted to kind of kick off the 2017 season with a kind of workshop where a lot of people get devices or computers or phones or this new technology for Christmas. Either they buy it for themselves or people give it to them, and then they're not exactly sure where to start with opening it up and setting it up and different accounts and what do they need for it. And so we get a lot of questions after Christmas every year at the library. And usually people just walk up to the desk and they're asking about their devices. And we wanted to kind of kick off and give them a special time where they can come in. We're going to have a lot of staff available that they can ask a lot of questions, and we can sit down one-on-one with them and kind of set their new devices up that they receive for Christmas. So our CCPLS Tech Workshop is on January 10th. It is a Tuesday in the same slot as our normal technology classes from 6:30, and we're going to 8:30. Usually our tech classes are a little bit shorter, but we'll do a nice 2-hour block down in our lab, our computer lab. So bring your technology, bring your new devices, even if it's not new, if you've had it sitting in the closet for 2 years and still haven't figured out how to use it, bring it too. And we'll have a lot of staff helpful there with a lot of pamphlets and stuff that maybe we can send you home with if you have other further questions, or we'll get you signed up for some further classes if you're interested in that. So it's a good place to start if you're not familiar with some of the technology that you currently own or are about to own next week. So
Just because you get Grandpa a new Amazon Fire or something doesn't mean he knows how to run it right away.
That's right. So even if you don't have new technology, if you know somebody in your family or friend group that needs it, just let them know and they can come on down. It's a drop-in. You don't have to sign up because we'll have a whole bunch. You're bringing your own device. We only have sign-ups if we're using our computers. So just bring it on in and we can get it set up for you.
And is there going to be a limit?
No.
To how many people or how many
it'll be kind of-
devices? Because let's say I got 6 devices and I don't know how to run any of them.
That's true. Just bring them all in, and we can kind of prioritize them for you. Maybe one only needs a couple minutes with you. The other one might need a couple hours, and we could help you then and maybe set you up for a one-on-one class at a later date. So yeah, just bring them all in. If you have questions about anything, just bring them in, and then we can prioritize them as we're sitting there. So
Definitely. Sounds very cool. Sounds very much needed.
Yes.
This new day and age.
yeah.
What else we got going on in the library?
Well, January we got some fun things coming up. We have the trivia night at the Gillette Brewery that we do pretty much every quarter, I think is what we were kind of gotten into the swing of. So we'll be doing that on the 16th, I believe. Yes, the 16th, Monday night at the Gillette Brewery. So that'll be a lot of fun. We really enjoy doing trivia night, kind of switching it up, and so that's coming up in January. Our movie for January is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. We thought, being the librarians that we are, we throw in a political movie for Inauguration Month, just to kind of familiarize people with how Congress works and how that goes. So it's an old classic black and white with Jimmy Stewart. So that'll be a lot of fun. So come and join us for that. And that is
January 10th.
Thank you for reading my dates for me.
Yeah.
January
Kind of got our
10th.
papers pushed aside a little bit.
Have too many papers.
Yeah. And I also see on there you have the book discussion, the Iliad, which is always it's an interesting read regardless of who you are, I feel like.
It is. Yeah, it's a classic. We're doing the Homer, the original poetry for Homer, and if you've never read Homer before, it does take a few minutes to get into it. But then after you kind of get used to the swing of the language and it's written in kind of a poetry form, it's a really cool read. It has a lot of neat flow to it, and it also has you'll be surprised at some of the things that we say modernly that have come from Homer's writing. So that is our book discussion for January, is the Iliad. So come and pick that up at the library. You can pick that up anytime. We'll sign it out for you. And then the discussion is on the 17th, which is a Tuesday.
What is your 3D printing class?
Oh, we're really excited about this. Last year, we purchased a 3D printer, the library did. And we've had it downstairs for the last 8, 9, 10 months as staff have been familiar with it and learning and training on it. And in January, we're moving it upstairs for the public to use. So we're going to have that in our technology center. We're going to charge just by the filament. So if your project takes, 20 grams of filament, it's 10 cents a gram, so that's what we're going to charge. If you bring your own filament, we have certain guidelines for that, but if you bring your own, we won't charge you a thing. You can upload your models to it and print for free. So if you bring that in, we're going to do that too. But in conjunction with that, it does take just a tiny bit of training. So we got some 3D printer training classes coming up in our technology slots on Tuesday nights. So we got 2 classes, one in January and I believe one in February, kind of 3D printer 1 and 2. That if you're not familiar with 3D printing or maybe just want to know how it works, not maybe use ours, then you're more than welcome to come in, sign up, and we're going to teach you how to use our 3D printer. So we're really excited about that because it's kind of a new wave of technology that, as far as I'm aware, not many people in Gillette own a machine. So if you're interested in a 3D printing project or machine, come on down and learn about it.
Yeah, it sounds really intriguing. I hope a lot of people take advantage of something like this. Really neat stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And then I also know that like every Saturday, and you guys have your come play kind of stuff like that. I can't remember the exact word. Was it We Play or something like that?
Oh yeah, our gaming
And then,
days.
yeah, you have your gaming days, and you also have your Dungeons and Dragons, I think, and you got your comics. You guys got everything downstairs in that teen room.
We do. The teen room is fantastic. They have a lot of activities for teens after school or on weekends. If you're looking for something to do, come and check out the teen room because they have pretty much covered the board with what you're interested in. So if you're not interested in D&D, but you're interested in, cards or, or gaming or any of that, they have a club for a lot of people. Anime, so they have a lot of different genres of interest groups down in the teen room. So if you're interested in filling some time when you're not in school, definitely come down and check out the teen room. All of their regular programs and clubs start back up again in their normal slots in January. Also, the children's department starts their story time back up in January as well. They've been kind of doing some Christmas programs throughout December, so all of those normal time slots will still start right back up in January after the holidays.
All right, is there anything else you want to let the people know?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty good.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to County Connection. Today with me I have Julie Carr from the Public Health Department, and we're going to be talking about cold or extreme cold safety and things you can do to prevent basically outside and indoor accidents, I guess you might want to say. So I guess if you want to start out with wherever you want to start us out.
All right, well, thanks for having me. So I thought today would be a great day to talk about extreme cold because last month we had some really bad cold weather, and people don't realize how dangerous that is. We live in Wyoming, we're kind of used to cold weather, but there are some pretty important things to keep in mind for health and safety. So the Centers for Disease Control website has some great checklists. I would definitely recommend checking them out, cdc.gov. And they'll have checklists for car kits that you can put together. Okay. So you have all the items you need to keep you safe if you're traveling, and also kits for your home. So one thing to think about with winter safety is to plan ahead. You don't know when a storm's going to hit, so you need to have on hand things in your house. So if you can't leave, you can still eat. Yeah. Food and water is really important, and any medications that you need. So make sure you're keeping your medications refilled properly so you don't end up stuck indoors where the roads are closed and you can't get to the pharmacy. Also, your survival kit for your car should include some food and water, a shovel, some jumper cables, some basic things like that. A car kit can be really extensive, so it's kind of nice to go through the checklist and see what all you need, but definitely having a winter coat before you go out. You don't know if you're going to get stopped in an accident or stopped because of road conditions, or even if your car breaks down in the extreme cold, you need to be prepared. Indoor safety is about heating your home safely. So obviously using space heaters or combustion heaters. If you're using anything that burns gas, you shouldn't be doing that without proper ventilation. And making sure you don't have it too close to like within 3 feet of any furniture or anything that could catch fire. Homes that are cold, the water pipes can freeze. Mm-hmm. So a recommendation for that is to keep your cupboard doors open so more airflow can flow around those pipes, and even consider keeping the tap running just a little bit so that the water continues to flow. Yep.
When I was down in Austin, Texas, it was like they were worried that it was going to be 30 degrees, and so they made us all at the apartments to put them all in drips. Yeah, and I was like, this is ridiculous, but whatever.
They don't know what cold is down there.
It's like, oh well, if it keeps.
But cold is relative.
Yeah, that is true.
This is true. Also, for your own health and safety, to eat and drink wisely, so you stay properly hydrated, and eating warm or balanced meals and warm food helps keep you warm. Dressing warm and staying dry is the most important. So hypothermia can set in at 40 degrees if you're wet. So sweat or being submerged in water, it puts you at higher risk for hypothermia than just the outside temperature. Yeah. And one thing we worry about is people who are shoveling their walks and wearing too much clothing. They get really sweaty and wet, and they get cold really fast. So hypothermia can be a risk for that. Frostbite is another concern. We don't see a lot of frostbite in town, but what could happen is, travel and you end up stranded and have to walk a little ways in the cold. So recognizing signs of hypothermia and frostbite and getting attention right away.
And what is probably the best way of going? Let's say I've been outside and my feet, my hands are beyond almost numb. Like, I know the worst thing to do is go turn the hot water on and throw them babies underneath there because it's going to burn and feel like I got needles all over my hands. Right. So what would you recommend is the best way of getting your limbs back to being where they need to be?
The best way is really to get blood flow and circulation going. So really just rubbing together for some friction. This sounds funny, but one of the best ways to warm your hands is to stick them in your armpits because you use your body heat. So whenever you're losing body heat, your core is going to be the warmest, so that can help. If you are going to use water, you want to start out with some lukewarm water and slowly increase it until you have some sensation, because you can't feel the heat. You could burn yourself, you could cause some scalding because the water will feel hotter, or it won't feel as hot as it actually is. So slowly warming is the best plan. And then when you're dressing, dress in layers, because as you get active with shoveling, you're going to need to take some layers off so you don't get too sweaty. That's a big risk. And then signs of frostbite, white or grayish yellow looking skin, so that's a sign that we don't have good circulation there. And that's where the friction helps and using your core. Skin that feels unusually firm or waxy, it usually doesn't have any sensation. And to the touch, whoever else is feeling it, it'll seem really firm and waxy. You won't know if it's your hands. You won't have that sensation yourself. And then the numbness, like you said, the numbness is usually the first thing. So if your hands are so cold that they're numb, it's time to do something about it. Don't wait.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if on this information or not. I know a lot of the workers that we have in Campbell County are all outside, your oil, coal, just your contractors, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of them have wool socks. Yes. I've always recommended, or I've always been told, to carry an extra pair of socks because wool socks keep you warm, but at the same time, if you're sweating, it holds the moisture in more.
Very true. So wool socks do wick away moisture so that your immediate skin is less wet and you get more airflow, but they can only hold so much. So it is great to always carry an extra pair of socks, and your feet are usually the first thing that are going to get cold because you're standing in the snow and the ice. So anything you can do to keep dry is actually more important than keeping warm.
Yeah.
So extra pair of socks, boots that are waterproof, any insulation layers that you can use to keep dry is going to help. And certainly changing out socks is a great idea. Probably changing out your gloves too, because your hands can get really sweaty.
What about putting hand warmers in the boots?
That is totally okay.
Okay, I was going to say, I do it
totally okay.
when I'm out like snowboarding and stuff like that until I kind of get warmed up. But
yeah, it's a great use of the hand warmers because really that's just like a chemical hot pack.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they said anything on there about it.
No.
But
it actually doesn't mention anything about hand warmers, but those are a great thing to have in your survival kit. For
I
sure.
love those things.
Yeah.
They're so small,
They're very
handy,
helpful.
keep you going.
Yep, and I even saw at one of the stores this winter, there's a coat that has battery operated that provide heat like an electric blanket. We're thinking of everything. I know.
You gotta have double D's in your left-hand pocket to keep your jacket going on. There's something not right there.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's pretty funny. If you see somebody plugging their jacket into the wall
To charge it,
yeah. That's pretty funny. Also clever, probably, but.
Maybe, yeah.
And then also, what are probably some of the best, like you talked a little bit about drinks and stuff like that and soups. Let's say I do come in out of the cold, I've been shoveling and stuff like that. Hot water, hot tea, coffee, what would you kind of recommend?
I would definitely recommend warm beverages because they absorb more quickly at your stomach. So you're going to get hydrated faster and it's going to warm you up. But if you're coming in and you're hot from shoveling, a cold beverage is okay because your core temperature is elevated. But we do recommend no caffeine or alcohol when it's really cold out because that does affect your body's ability to maintain its temperature. So
I knew alcohol did. I wasn't sure how caffeine worked with
caffeine
that.
also.
So you're saying coffee in the morning before I go shovel is probably not a good thing.
Well, you're probably okay, but it wouldn't be your drink of choice to replenish after you've been out shoveling.
Well, is there anything else we missed on here?
I think we got a little bit of everything. So just stay warm and stay safe.
And don't ignore your body. If it's telling you it's too cold, get
Time
out of
to
the
go
cold. Well, all right. Well, thank you very much, Julie.
Thanks for having me.
My name is Mark Englert. I'm the Vice President and CEO of Gillette College, and with me today is Rachel Coleman. She is the Director of Student Housing. Is that correct, Rachel? Did I get your title right?
Just about, yep.
Every day I learn something new. Anyway, certainly Happy New Year to everyone. We are here today to talk about some of the new facilities coming online, and particularly the new Inspiration Hall and the High Plains Grill and the impact it has on our campus, and certainly the support and impact it has on our students and future students. And I'm going to let Rachel talk about a lot of the things she's got planned out, but understand that these facilities add tremendously to our campus and provide yet another coalescing feature of the community within the community, where we can draw students together around a lot of activities and a comfortable living environment. So we are excited to have these come online. They are available starting spring semester. We'll have rooms available for our students. So Rachel, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about Inspiration Hall and some of the opportunities you have for students?
Absolutely. So Inspiration Hall is a traditional suite style residence hall. We're very excited to be bringing on board. It's going to offer 140 beds for our residents. So that's really very exciting, not to mention that there's a lot of added convenience with Inspiration Hall. There will be laundry facilities on each floor. There will be study rooms down each wing, as well as some common lounge space that we can have really kind of a central focus on academics and also social interactions. If you add into the fact that the High Plains Grill will be located right inside Inspiration Hall as well, students have the added benefit that they won't have to trek out across the snow to get breakfast in the morning. So we're really very excited about what will be offered with that, not to mention that both myself and the coordinator for Campus Life and Housing, our offices will be located in that building as well. So it'll really be just a hub of activity for the residence halls, and also, of course, conveniently located right next to our current housing in Tanner Village, which is more of the apartment style.
Right. And for our viewers, it's important to realize we've lived the last 7 years with about 100 beds, 100 residents on campus. We've been oversubscribed since the day we've opened. So the addition of this new Inspiration Hall really adds to the campus environment. So we'll have the potential of 240 student residents on campus, which really adds to a campus life and the vibrancy of our campus life. So we're excited about that. And Rachel, I think you actually now have students who have contracts to live in Inspiration Hall this spring.
Yes, we do. We actually already have some new contracts coming in for Inspiration Hall. We're very excited about that. However, we do still have some spaces available. So if there are individuals looking to get that on-campus living experience, we would love to have them on campus this spring.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about the High Plains Grill? One of the things that we've done, we've had the good fortune of having student dining in the Tech Center for the last several years, but the High Plains Grill really provides a completely different approach to student dining, and it's accessible to the public as well.
Absolutely. So the High Plains Grill will offer a lot of great opportunities for a wide variety of food offerings. There will be, I believe it'll be 6 different stations, everything from kind of a traditional home style to a grill where you can get, your burger and fries. We'll have a soup and salad station, kind of like an Oriental wok, make your own options at that station, as well as kind of a Latin flair station as well. So it's really some very exciting opportunities. The great thing with the High Plains Grill is once you come in the door, you just have to pay one flat fee, and it's all you care to eat for your time there. Not to mention the fact that the space, of course, is open for community members, whether to come eat or to just come and see. Sure. We really look forward to that interaction.
I do like that all-you-can-eat option. I probably take advantage of that way too often.
It's a great one to have, for sure.
And tell us a little bit, obviously we've got 140 beds coming online for the spring semester, so it will take, it's a ramp-up process to really fill the residence hall, but you have some opportunity now to really bring prospective students on campus and let them experience a little bit about what things that they might enjoy when they become students, right?
Yes, absolutely. We're working very closely with our admissions department actually to offer, we're calling it Live at Gillette College. It'll be just kind of an overnight experience for what will be graduating seniors in high school to come and experience being on campus and staying overnight. And so we will have some opportunities to really highlight what students can experience in those residence halls.
Right. And the Inspiration Hall and High Plains Grill is adjacent to the new Pronghorn Center, is that correct? So
that is,
I think we'll see a lot of student activity now on that end of campus now.
Oh, absolutely. We're very excited for that. Speaking from kind of the campus life portion, it's going to be an awesome opportunity to increase not only our athletic visibility, but also intramural programs. Our Student Senate is going to have their own office in the Pronghorn Center. Also, the classroom opportunities and learning, space is really just a great opportunity for students.
Yeah, it should be exciting. And the public grand opening for the Pronghorn Center is January 11th. Happens to be a basketball game against Sheridan College, and it should be a fun event. I think we'll have a packed house. We have 1,800 spots available in the James Ladke Arena, and I expect it to be full.
Oh, we're definitely doing all of our work on it to get students there, and really secure that win, of course. That's what we're really focused on.
Rachel, can you talk just a little bit about affordability for students who choose to live on campus, kind of the benefits of going that route?
Yes, absolutely. So there's beyond just the convenience of living where you're going to school and being able to not have to worry about driving and things like that.
Right.
The affordability is in the fact that our rates for living in the residence halls are very comparable to what is in town. Also, the convenience of you don't have to worry about paying for a separate utility bill or a wireless or cable bill or anything like that. We also, starting this spring, will be able to offer laundry services without having to do coin operation, which is another great benefit for students. So as far as if you really break down the month-by-month cost of living in the residence halls, we are very comparable to anywhere in town, but we also don't require a year-long contract. You get that contract period for while you're in school, which is where you need it to be.
Right. Well, and the beauty is, we have options for students who want to live on campus. We have options for students who want to live off campus, because there's certainly some very good rentals out there, and we can support all of that, and that's exactly what we want to do. The other thing that I think it's important people understand is the residential experience is a part of the whole educational experience for students, and most of the research supports greater student success with a residential experience.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Actually, there have been numerous studies that have found that students who live in the residence halls are more likely to stay in college for their, to complete their entire degree. They're more likely to have a higher GPA, and they're also more likely to secure a job after graduation. So those reasons alone, why wouldn't you want to live on campus?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's changed so much from way back when I was in college and the residential experience. And we do think, and Rachel and her staff just do a fantastic job of making sure that it is a part of the sum of the total. And I think that's important for people to understand, because that residential component allows students to participate in our community in a variety of ways, in leadership, in participation in clubs and organizations, so they engage much more deeply than they would otherwise.
Oh, absolutely. And we're also looking, of course, to expand our offerings with that crossover between residence life and academics, and really making sure that it's this holistic approach to better students.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate that, Rachel. I appreciate what you do. And Rachel is always around to answer questions
Of course.
regarding housing and student life, and does a phenomenal job. And we certainly want people to come experience that part of the college, and also visit us and see what it's like.
Of course. Yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. Oh, yes. So to reach my office, you would want to go ahead and call 307-686-0254, extension 2351. Or you could always, if you want, get on the website, and all of my contact information and email is located there as well.
So that's great. Should be a great 2017.